All right, and we're live.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It's another week gone or almost gone. So I'm Rebecca, and this is Aiden at the Dry Eye Foundation. If you happen to be new to us, and this is our weekly update about what's going on and a few just news clips and things and whatever happens to come to mind at the end of a week. Let's see. So I had a thing I was going to say, and now I just lost it. The foundation site, and do you want to just post a couple of links
Sure.
or maybe show us, just take us to the site itself, just about who we are and what different resources we have? I'd like to just run over a few bits there. And all right, maybe just go to the home page and just walk through the sticking on my screen, the menus of what all we've got.
Got a connect menu here.
Different ways to connect. We've got our groups going on the calendar, the helpline for people just not sure about some other way to connect, but you need some help or somebody to talk to. Mailing lists if you want to just kind of keep up to date on what's going on out there in the dry eye world, as well as here at the Dry Eye Foundation. And then links to other places to connect. Our YouTube channel's got videos of lots of our past group meetings and our Dry Eye Happy Hour forum kind of discussion sessions, and the Dry Eye Stories site where just kind of read what people, where they've been and where they are now. And of course, our Facebook support groups and the Dry Eye Talk forum for those who would prefer something kind of a little more in-depth than a Facebook group. And let's see what's next under our programs. Telling the story, I think, is that mostly the Dry Eye Stories site, I think.
Right, Dry Eye Stories in the survey.
Right. So at mydryeyedata.org, you'll find results from a really large survey we conducted over a period of about a year and a half that we're every now and then going into and bringing some highlights of.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see, education and advocacy. It looks like some of those are our same.
Yeah.
Sorry. Channels and MyDef. MyDef is our newest thing. Can you go to the MyDef?
Oh, yeah.
So we have a platform now for people to log into to just get a little more closely connected to the community. Maybe you can, I can't quite read the things in the menu there, but maybe you can run through those, Aiden.
Yeah, so on the portal, you can manage your membership, you can make donations and access your past donations. You can view upcoming events and register. You can view our volunteer projects and apply for those, and you can manage your email subscriptions.
We have an awful lot of things right now that we sure could use some help with. So if you look at those volunteer projects, and we've set up a few in there, but certainly not all of the needs. So if you look there and you don't see something that kind of matches what you'd like to offer, just feel free to reach out anytime and say, hey, here I am. I would like to be part of something, or I have a vision for a thing I'd like to do, or here are some skills I have to bring to the table. We would just love to have people a little more closely involved.
All right. Anything else on MyDef?
Let's see, just membership. We really are still in the kind of early part of our membership drive. This is a new thing for us. We are thrilled at the response. We're seeing quite a number of people doing the annual membership and others doing the kind of monthly Patreon style where you can just pick your own monthly fee on it. We just really, really appreciate everyone's support and love seeing our membership growing.
Absolutely.
There's a little video on that page where I kind of talk more about just some of the reasons and what our vision is for that.
Yeah, we're heading into a time where we need to fundraise a little bit to make our conferences and set up our booths and everything. So having the membership drive right now is certainly helping.
Extra donations specifically for those conferences sure wouldn't go amiss. Yeah, the costs are mounting. We got the booth rentals and obviously all of our travel and things to get there. And then just equipping a booth, you have to use their specified providers and get to pay for a lot of like very overpriced rental of a square of icky old carpet and a couple of chairs and a table, plus all the stuff that we want to that we're working on making, our brochures and things, and some giveaways for the event. So yeah, love to have your support.
Good. All right.
Okay, some news clips. Let's see. There were a couple of journal articles last week that I touched on that I had just seen before, and I was going to get into in more depth. I had a couple unexpected things come up this week, so I haven't gotten back to this. So I'm going to punt those till next week. But just to mention them briefly, there was what I thought was a really significant study on post-refractive pain, and then there was another interesting one on salivary gland transplantation. So I'm going to circle back to those next week when I can go through them in a little bit more depth. But a couple other things that were just kind of in my news feed. One that caught my eye today was a really large Medicare benefit provider, PBM, has said they're going to be covering Tyrvaya. That's the new dry eye spray, which is good news. The more coverage we can get for potential dry eye treatments, the better. Another one was one of the drugs that's on our dry eye pipeline. If you haven't ever looked at the pipeline, it's at dryeyezone.com. Under the eye drops menu, we have a section for the pipeline. We just saw it's small but encouraging update on one of those pipeline drugs, because many of those drugs that go through these really long, expensive clinical trials are destined to just die and go away if they don't meet their targets for providing a strong enough benefit compared to placebo or compared to other things on the market to be able to convince the FDA that they should get approved. Those just die in the making. But so we'd love to see when people are doing well. So this recent news was the Palatin drug PL9643. They're partway through a phase 3 trial and just kind of in that process where they had to make decisions about how many more people to enroll and all that. And I was just happy to see that they're seeing positive enough results from that to continue on. So that's one that's just heading a little further into the process. We want our therapeutic development community strong, and we want them to be getting good results and bringing us more solutions, because heaven knows we need them. Let's see. Can we go a little out of order? Aiden, do you want to go through events?
Sure. Yep. Well, I have the thing up here. All right. Well, geez, we're more than halfway through August. You can join Rebecca later today for an incomplete lid closure Zoom group. That's a mouthful. So Rebecca, remind me, we talk about AN, Bell's palsy.
Acoustic neuroma, facial paralysis. There's so much, or garden variety nocturnal lagophthalmos, just all these different situations where one or both eyelids aren't closing, so you get the kind of desiccating effects of evaporative tear loss with all that exposure. So
had a couple people we've spoken to this week that I think could benefit from the group, or just had incomplete lid closure come up this week. So
it's like one of those little just overlooked things. It's like all these different teeny niche areas and rare diseases and situations, and there's just kind of nothing out there that caters specifically for that. So yeah, I hope to see lots of people there today.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people registered already, but my experience has been people sometimes register right when the thing's starting. So yeah, you'll see when you start that today. All right, next week we have our dry eye Zoom group at 10 Pacific next Friday. Early morning group might let some members from Europe or just people who normally can't make it at 3 p.m. Join. So hope to see some people there. We're always on our live stream at this time on Fridays. And then we have 2 more groups coming up the week after that, mental health and recurrent corneal erosions. Rebecca's going to be hosting recurrent corneal erosions for the second time, and should be back to Teresa and Anne in September. And I did just want to show off, I have most of the events except for the Dry Foundation Lives scheduled for next month too.
All right.
Making progress.
Cool. I wanted to mention how now that we have our new Neon system where we're managing all these events, it's making it more feasible for us to do more things with them. And what I've started doing on the groups that I've hosted so far is just sending a follow-up email afterwards to everybody that registered, so that people who missed it, they'll know a little something about what went on. And people who were there might be able to, find in one place some of the links and things and
Yeah.
topics that we talked about,
How do you spell
and
that
everybody
again?
will see, when's our next meeting. So just getting a little more continuity there. It's one of the things I've just been really happy about this year, with both having Cindy now supporting things and then now having our new software. It's just being able to fill in some of these gaps, doing a little more follow-up, keeping a little more continuity with people. All right, let's see what else. Oh, and on Dry Foundation Live, I guess not super soon, but in September and October, at least a couple of those, maybe all three of the different meetings that we're going to, we'll be live streaming
I
on
think so.
site pretty much.
I didn't look at. Yeah, even San Diego will be there on a Friday. So
Yeah, good. All right, we can maybe show people around a little bit or something.
cool.
Yeah. All right, one or two other things I wanted to talk about. So every week I talk a little bit more about biologic eye drops and Regenerize and Stimulize and what's going on there. And we haven't been publishing new things recently because it's just already so much content on the site. We've been kind of sitting back and letting some of it get just absorbed, and you may be seeing us pushing more of it out on our social media. But one thing we are seeing that's changing is little impact, as in some signs that this is getting noticed by manufacturers that we are describing issues about. I noticed would you mind bringing up the Regenerize website? And
Okay, yeah. You'll have to lead me to the page, but
sorry, regenerize.com.
oh, show the specific page. Anyways,
Oh yeah, no, it's just a homepage.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the slogan, the power of science and the ease of an eye drop. Well, all this time, that's not what it said. It said the power of a biologic in the ease of an eye drop. And I mean, we've been out there for quite a while now educating about how biologic drugs require clinical trials and FDA approval. And so it's just really interesting to see that change, because I think somebody might be noticing that this could make them a target for the FDA to go after. Little do they know, I think, that the FDA were already looking all over that site a long time ago. But anyway, another sign that we saw was actually on well, this is more of a thing that's missing, so no point bringing up the page, but under the FAQ section, I think it's somewhere under the ECP part, there was a section that talked about Regenerize being derived from placental materials. And that was the last place remaining on the site that actually talked about what's in the bottle, other than these things that are not ingredients specifically, but cytokines and growth factors and all of that. And that section is now gone. So the evidence of what it's made of is no longer on the site, which I thought was interesting. And then the last one was, and no need to go here either, but the Regenerize Facebook page had an ad for quite some time. Actually, Aiden, can you bring up Dr. Brown's second diagnosing scam pharma presentation? Yeah, thinking of let's see. Yeah, under there, the one with the gray ad. Scroll down. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, so that ad where you can kind of see behind the stuff, proven safe and effective in clinical trials. We really took issue with this, considering that this is a drug for which no clinical trials have ever been conducted, which you can verify very easily just going to clinicaltrials.gov and typing in Regenerize and spell it 5 different ways to make sure you're catching everything. But no clinical trials have been conducted, and the brashness of this kind of lie is just astounding to me. But this particular presentation on our YouTube channel is kind of rising out there in visibility. We noticed if you search on Regenerize on YouTube, it now comes up within maybe the first 6 or 7 hits. So we gathered that visibility might have prompted the removal of that very false ad. Anyway, those were some encouraging signs. One other little piece of news, I think I put this out there on social media earlier this week. We saw a warning letter from the FDA to a company that's making a lot of placental-derived products, among them an eye drop that none of us had ever heard of. It's clearly not being distributed through kind of optometry and ophthalmology, as far as we can tell, more going out there through kind of naturopathy and things. Yep, there it is. So the fact that the FDA is taking enforcement action, at least against one company so far that's got a biologic eye drop that has not gone through the FDA approval process, was encouraging to us. As I've said many times before, we know they're investigating Regenerize and Stimulize, and it is only a matter of time, but we're concerned about the potential for harm and the lost money in all of this time between now and when the FDA really does take some decisive action or issue a public statement in some form about these eye drops. So that is why we are so motivated to continue getting the word out. So that's enough on that. I do want to mention something just kind of tangentially related, something I've just been putting a lot of thought into lately and working on. Might have brought this up once before. It's just because of some of these issues that have come up about biologic eye drops, and those have bled into other issues. Broad question of, when I'm considering a new treatment, what should I know? What should I talk with my doctor about? What questions should I ask? What's my basis for deciding what to try? I mean, we don't want to be driven solely by desperation. That puts us at risk of things that, first of all, may just be a waste of time if there's no evidence that they've ever helped anyone. And second, they can put us at risk of unidentified dangers, when it comes to unstudied or unregulated products. And fine, we all get to choose our level of risk. That's a personal decision. Some people don't care at all about it. Everybody's got their threshold, but that risk reward balance is something we should at least always get to make choices about. And the more information we have, the better equipped we are to make those choices. So one of the things I've been working on is figuring out some way to make a kind of compact tool we can use to guide a conversation with our doctors. And how do we work within the constraints of the limits of the time our doctors have for education about things? And we can't be our own doctors, but there is a lot of pretty simple basic research we can do. We can look some things up on Daily Med. We can find out actual just basic data about some of these treatments that can help give us a picture. If 85% of patients don't benefit and 15% do, are those odds that I'm willing to invest this much money in? I mean, numbers can help us, I think, in these decisions. And going through some kind of actual slightly more formal decision tree can also be a way to flag some to catch some red flags, some things some risks that we might not be aware of, or some potential benefits that we're not aware of too. I think data is good. So we're working on some tools to put in people's hands to help with those conversations, so that our dry eye treatment options are not just a buffet where we say, okay, I'll try this one today and I'll try that flavor tomorrow and I'll try that one and hopefully something will stick. I think there's more information out there to help us do that more thoughtfully. And we just want to help people partner effectively with their doctors to get that information. It's a challenging age to do that in, but I think we can do it. I think that's all I got today, Hayden.
All right.
What else do we have going on?
I just wanted to say we spent a little bit of time earlier this week working on a brochure to be able to hand out at the conferences. We have more time set aside today for that as well. So that was a big thing this week. And I'm going to try and get an email out to our members for the first time today, just checking in.
Our dry eye bites. Confession, I'm the one that's been holding that up all this time, but we will get there.
I think I haven't really run it by you, but I do want to just do like a little roundup of some of the blog posts we've put up since starting the membership thing. There's one on biologic eye drops, and links to the Foundation live streams would be cool too. So
Yep.
anyways, oh, I think that's it for me too. That's glad it's Friday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take care, everyone.